So since you're here, you want to give us an update on the on your software and the Rhino?
Well, the Rhino is okay. It's a very frustrating market. Can I share my screen?
Yep.
Where's
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
Okay, where's that? Share my screen. Yeah, share. I closed February for a small profit, about $500, and March is pretty safe. Can you see my screen?
I can. Yep.
Okay, so March is pretty safe, but it's not great. I'm just losing a bit of money. Flat delta of a large range. So yeah, I added a few small additional layers on the just to keep up with the market, and at the same time it came with at a credit. So I managed to lift the upper acceleration line. That's my regular trade, my regular Rhino. The simpler variant, the what I call the B2B, the by the book, is simpler. It doesn't have as much flexibility. Basically, when the market runs away and there's no chance for delta to build up to even get to the point where I could put an upside hedge, I just do what I call the RTT mutation. So this one also has got very little upside risk, and I just hope the market will stop grinding up. So this one, it's okay. We can't win every month, but at least it's pretty safe. On April, which I started 2 weeks ago, the trade is, I think, about flat. Yeah. Fortunately, I entered about 80 DTE, 80, 81, 82, I can't remember, when the market dropped a little. So I got the opportunity of a volt pop. So the upside risk is still okay. So this trade is okay. It's good downside cover if the market eventually retraces. So, it's stress free. It's frustrating, but at least it is pretty much stress free. So that's okay. Yeah. So
Stress free is
nothing
a good
much.
thing.
Yeah, because as you know, I'm quite busy and I don't have really much time to. This keeps me busy, occupied enough because I still have to follow this market. But overall, it's okay. And I've got. If I go back to March, I've actually exported the trade log to my own software, and so this is SOAP running. And I found a kind of a trick to basically I can run both software together, and I don't get into the IB throttle. So that's a good thing. So this is March. There seems to be a little bit discrepancy because this one is a little bit optimistic. The Greeks are exactly the same. Margin is the same, but I need to double check my P&L calculation. I know I worked in the last week or so. I worked on um, a new feature to add, if you want to trade covered calls, merit puts, or any form of hedging with an underlying, I've added this form and you can, buy, sell, whatever. So, and maybe I did something wrong and a bug crept in my P&L calculation. I don't know. There must be something somewhere. What I have actually also implemented in the last few weeks is my own vol surface calculations. And so basically to calculate the vol surface, SOAP is different from other software that there's nothing server based. Everything is done by the user. So basically you set up your vol surface settings, which is basically requesting data for expirations up to your main trade, and now it is March. And once you're ready, and I think for this one, for March, I actually called data for the Feb regular monthly and the Feb end of month. Of course, you will have a better looking vol surface if you request more data, but I think that's enough. The VIX term structure is still flattish in a slight contango. And when it's flat, basically the vol surface should be almost the same as individual volatilities. Vol surface is actually more interesting in in more assertive, more decisive contango or in backwardation. So at this point, I think the vol surface is not really important, but I can actually plot it in my software. So this is the vol surface. So from 0 TTE. So basically using only those two expirations, Feb monthly, Feb end of month, and my March expiration. I actually work out and model the vol surface. I can actually model it both using moneyness or using strikes as the x-axis. That may sound a bit technical, but I mean it is not. And what I've also added is that although it's not quite visible now with volatility as it stands, I'm using something that I could call a 7-point model, which allows for modeling the slight OTM concavity that we see sometimes on IV curves. It's not, I mean, it's pretty flat, yeah, but I mean, it can model that kind of concavity. So the vol surface model is quite powerful, and it is unlike one. I don't know. OV is another black box. I don't know. Sorry, one is another black box, almost like as bad as OV in a way that you don't know what they do. At least I know how I calculate my vol model, and I can explain it. I know that the new option view system uses a 5-point model, and I use a 7-point, so to actually capture the slight concavity, you can find OTM. I know there are a number of traders who trade very far OTM, so that's I think it should provide better modeling, and everything can be then ported into the matrix, or what I call the matrix, like in option view. So this is the exact same trade as on, oops, what's going on? Oh, you see, sometimes I've a little, okay, at least the error is trapped. So it is exactly the same. There's just that P&L that for some reason is not exactly the same. I mean, it's more optimistic as on one, but the shape is exactly the same. The Greeks are the same as well. Yeah, so that's about it. You know, I also calculate Greeks that you don't find normally on other platforms. You know, you can have Burma, Vanna, Charm, Color, all those things. It can be a little bit fancy, but again, Burma can be interesting again if we get into a vol crash like we had in late 2017, early 2018. So that should be the alarm bell for what at that time was called the Vegageddon, if you remember, 2 years ago. I think it was more or less exactly 2 years ago. Yeah, I think it started on Feb 6, 2 years ago. So yeah, basically I'm quite happy. I just have to test my covered calls and then maybe check for a few bugs here or there. But yeah, this is more or less ready.
And then how's the parent or the big brother to this going?
Well, the big brother, you know, this is a self-funded project, and my coding partner, my programming partner, had to take a job for 2 months. So basically, it's standing still until early March. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating as well. But yeah, and then you will have to integrate everything I've done. So in terms of using individual volatilities, he's got the same as I have. I mean, it looks better because he's a better programmer, but he's got the same calculations for EIO, IO, or individual volatilities. He hasn't programmed the vol surface yet, but that will come. I mean, you will just have to copy paste my stuff. Yeah, and his platform already has all the background code for using any kind of proxy. You can actually trade a portfolio, and you can trade any options with any underlying. So he's more advanced on that front. So I'm still testing my covered calls, but Is already there. Yeah. But otherwise, I'm quite happy. The calculations look correct. I'm just a bit frustrated with this. I think it's a bug that I've. So, for example, if you, let's say you simulate, let's simulate that I go short ES. Yeah, maybe. Let's see what it does. If I simulate, I'm going short ES. Usually, it should change the delta. Yeah, you see, I'm becoming. Oops, what's Oh no, it doesn't take it because it's a simulation. So I've got a few things because I've got minus 50 delta here. Oh no, what's gone? Oh no, sorry. Another bug that crept in. I need to put it in here, I suppose. Because you can also trade from here. Trade the underlying from here. So let's see if I put it here. Let's go back to the matrix. No, doesn't take it. Anyway, it must be a small bug. I'm still working on this covered calls or hedging within the line, so that there must be something going on here because I can see position, average cost. Yeah. But anyway, I will have to fix that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy otherwise. You know, the vol surface calculations was actually the big thing. Let me see. You see, I get my minus 50 delta here, so it should be okay. What? It should actually replicate it here. Maybe I forgot to port it to the graph. Because as you can see, now I get minus 50 delta being short one ES future. So this is correct. Yeah, I think I forgot to port it to the graph. Anyway, this is what I'm working on. So and I only have one guy, Vlad, I don't know his last name, who helps me test it. He's done a very good work. But I think most other people are kind of scared of contributing. That's a bit sad. I mean, but I've got quite a number of downloads, so there's definitely some interest. Yeah, but yeah, that's about it.
So once the developer gets back to work on it, what kind of time frame does he think it might be before you have some kind of version we can see?
I don't know. He's too far behind me, and now he's taking another because he's got a 3-month project, so he hasn't worked a bit since early December. So he will be back early March, and I will have to do an assessment. But I'm sorry, I can't give you a date.
Right,
Yeah, I think my software will be out for what it is way before his is ready.
right.
Yeah.
And then how's the option mechanics trading group? What are you guys talking about in there?
Because I've been talking a lot about volatility, implied volatility, how to model a vol surface, Greek's equivalence. There was a session on American options. Is it interesting to exercise an option? When or why? We've talked. I mean, we've talked a lot about Black-Scholes. But I try to keep. I try my best to keep it simple. And since I finished my vol surface, the next session will be about. I will explain everything that is in SOAP, basically, how I actually model my vol surface. I know it can sound complicated for some, but it is really a practitioner's approach. My model does not need any CEV. CEV is trying to model mean reversion or the anti-correlation between volatility and the underlying. With my really down to earth. I mean, I know the mathematical models, and I can talk about nonlinear multiple regression. I know it can sound complicated to many, but really, it's really taking. For example, if I look at what I call my snapshot data, which is the data I get from I mean, this is usually not necessary. You don't, but I capture data and I model IV on the data I capture. So this is not IB data. This is all modeled data, modeled IV. And from in this particular example, I'm only using 3 expirations. So of course, if you want to model closer to expiration, you would have to add shorter dated expiries to, but I think we are now 11th. So actually February is very short, very much short dated already. But oh yeah, there's still a bit of like, what I'm saying is that you can make it more or less sophisticated or more granular, but basically I use the exact same volatility surface, basically the vol skew on each chain that I'm downloading in the background. Oh, I've got a battery problem again. And from that I model using, I mean, this is my model. I can actually refresh it, but because my vol surface is actually updated every 5 minutes. So, but you're really using real data, real IV points. I'm not using any statistical model, but I will explain it in much more clearly on the option mechanics session on Thursday.
So if people want to get a copy of SOAP, where's the best place to go for that?
The best is to join my Slack channel or contact me, of course, on aramia.com, bruno@aramia.com. And also have a YouTube channel, and I think I provide the links on my YouTube channel as well. I still haven't built my website. I mean, that will come at some point.
Is there a forum thread anywhere? Maybe you got to put it in
Yeah,
there too.
yes, of course. There's also a thread on SOAP in the Aramia forums. Yes.
Okay, so I'll put a link to that in the meeting.
Okay, cool.
Um,
I'm feeling a bit nervous because my battery's not charging. I don't know if you've seen that my battery's. Yeah, so I
yeah,
won't be
you're
able to
down.
stay. I won't be able to stay too long. There's something wrong with my battery charging. Yeah, it's getting flat again. Yeah.
Well, I just had a quick question. If somebody who hasn't used Vol Surface before, how would you recommend that they use that in their trading?
Well, you can. Vol surface is actually interesting to maybe pick the best chain and the best area where you can. I mean, if for example, if you trade simple spreads, you can. I mean, let's not forget that SOAP, for example, can also export everything to Excel. So I can export everything to Excel and using just by a look at the vol surface, you can see where maybe you will get, you are likely to get better premium for your put spreads, for example.
And Thomas
But
had a question.
yeah,
Did you see that?
no, I didn't. No, I don't see the chat box. I'm sorry.
Oh, he says, can you give 3 key reasons why to use SOAP as opposed to TOS or ONE?
Well, TOS I don't have. So TOS is good. I suppose it's good, but you don't know how they calculate the vol surface. This is a SOAP is a good tool. I mean, when I started, it was out of frustration because in low IV environment, I was very frustrated with option view. One maybe does a better job, but I still haven't got a clue how they calculate their vol surface. At least I know what's in there and I can explain it. And I think if you want to have confidence in the tools you use for trading, I think this is quite important. So, and although it can look complicated, my vol surface is, again, it's a very down-to-earth method. The thing that I haven't coded yet, but because it's maybe my natural inclination, I never backtest. I don't use backtesting. So there's no backtesting facility yet, and mostly because CPOE data costs an arm and a leg. So, but I will I have already implemented the download feature from IB. So there will be some elements, at least to be able to backtrack a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and maybe see what what happened in the last couple of weeks. So, but no, I will until the software really takes off and I can afford to buy the commercial rights on lots of historical data. That will be, it's really for people who want to understand the dynamics of trading, not really, not being rule based and just backtesting. I mean, a lot of people don't backtest properly. They go quickly hour by hour or day by day, and okay, it looks good, looks good, looks good, and they never really analyze what they're doing. So and so in that case, I think it's generally a waste of time. And of course, also, if you want to backtest, you should really look for each time in history, each point in history. You should actually look at, was the also the VIX term structure in contango very slanted contango, or was it? I mean, again, I mean, it's maybe because of my experience or knowledge. I feel that if you want to backtest, do it properly.
Oh, and then
Uh,
Marcus says, can you explain the delta graph on the screen? He can't make sense of it.
well, this this delta goes from -8 to minus. Maybe I should make it with fixed boundaries, like -100 to +100. So this is here. This is negative vega. I mean, obviously, it's the top. The highest vega is near the short, and here. Oh, maybe there's a mistake. I mean, vega should be delta should be positive here. Yeah, I don't know. I will have to double check that. Yeah.
Is that similar to the delta display in O&E?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just, well, my current delta. Oh no, of course. This is because I have that.
Or that
Yeah, I
ES
told.
contract?
Yeah, I've got that year's contract. That's the reason why my delta is incorrect. Let me clear. But my computer is going to get slower and slower because it's in super saving mode right now. So I don't know what you may lose me at any point.
Okay.
Okay, but let's go back to the matrix. It will update the delta. Yeah, it's sorry about that. I don't know. There's something wrong with um, my computer does not detect my battery charger. This, I don't know, something too smart for me. Okay, my delta is not looking better. Okay, so it should update here. Sorry, it's crawling now because it's really in super saving mode. My computer's gonna shut down anytime. Yeah, 9%. Yeah, sorry about that. So I better stop now. But if you want to know more about Vault Surface and SOAP, just pop in next Thursday, 11 Eastern, 11 a.m. Eastern, and we
So
will have a
that's this
session on
Thursday
this.
or next week?
This coming Thursday, in two
This
days' time.
this week.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah.
All
So
right,
I
well,
better shut down because
yeah, it's going to shut down whether you like it or not, right?
yeah, I think so. Yes. Sorry about that.